Hi there, YouTubers. This is Sue at Hometown to Homestead Gal Gardener. I've got my roast in the crock pot ready to go for dinner, and now it's time to play. So years ago, my mom went to Oregon, and she came back with some delectable treats from a fudge store there, which I do not know the name of. One of the treats that she came back with was a blueberry or boysenberry, some kind of a berry fudge that was just delicious, and some standard chocolate fudges, milk chocolate, that sort of thing. But the thing that stood out in my mind that I've looked for years and have not been able to find is a cheese fudge. So, and there's lots and lots of recipes out there for things that they're called cheese fudge, but they have cocoa powder in them. This that I'm looking for does not have cocoa powder in it. Literally, it looks like Velveeta, but it's a sweet fudge. So I decided I'm going to experiment and make my own version. We're going to start with an 8x8 pan. And I've got some parchment and some pan release. That helps the parchment stay down in there better in case anything seeps out. And just give the parchment a light spray, just because it helps. Okay, so we're going to start. I'm basing this off of a peanut butter fudge recipe. So we'll see how this goes. And when it's all done, I'll bring you back to see what it looks like and let you know how it tastes. See if I got the mark. See if I got it spot on the mark. Where does that term come from? I don't know. Hit it on the mark. Something like that. Okay, so it's 2 sticks of butter, or 1 cup. And then, yes, I've got regular old original Velveeta. And I'm going to cut off on the marks through the foil. That's just so good for my knife, I know. Look at that lovely orange cheesy color. Who knew that Velveeta was for more than just putting on macaroni, right? My mom said that growing up, this was the only cheese she knew because that's all they could afford. Okay, so in the bowl, cup of butter, cup of Velveeta. I'm going to microwave it until it's all melted. I'm guessing it's going to take about a minute to minute and a half. Peanut butter fudge recipe, you're doing the same thing, except you're using a cup of creamy peanut butter, which I'm going to be making some of that for my girlfriend, my daughter's boyfriend too, because he informed me that he likes peanut butter fudge. Let's give this a check. Not yet, but I'm going to give it a little stir. Softening. And we'll continue with the microwave. I have this very, very large bag of powdered sugar that I'm going to delve into for my holiday cooking. And get it open. Not make a mess out of this. And a resealable zip top, but I don't trust my tearing abilities there. nice and melty yet. Still lumps in there. Let me give it a stir. Sometimes you have lumps in something that will just go away when you stir it. The Velveeta's still a little firm, so let's give it another 30 seconds. I'm not having snowstorms like they are back east, but it's still pretty chilly in the house today, so things are set up firmer in the house that are normally softer. And I'm going to beat it in my KitchenAid with the paddle blade that I have attached, and that'll save me some stirring, little elbow grease. Almost there. Let's try another 30. Now, one of the notes in the peanut butter fudge recipe says that you cannot use margarine, that it will not come out. It's too watery. Because margarine has a lot of water in it. So you don't want to do that. So you use real butter and real butter only. I'm going to bring you in a little closer to the shenanigans here. Give that a shot. Are we done? Are we done? That should be close enough. It's real liquidy and real watery. Let's see if we can see that consistency. Ooh, shoot. Just lost a little bit of my butter. This one a little slosh, it should still be okay. So I'm going to pour this all into the KitchenAid. Scrape my bowl down good. Make sure I'm not missing any cheesy, buttery goodness. Down. We're going to turn it on to 1 to start. I'm using the paddle and not the whip because the whip would not be strong enough once it gets into the once the powdered sugar gets in there. Brand new bottle of vanilla. So far we have 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of the fat, which would be peanut butter or cheese, whichever one you're making. And now I'm adding 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Happens to be Stone Mill pure vanilla extract. Oh, it smells good. I don't remember where I got that from. Here, let's bring you flying and we'll see what it looks like mixing inside the bowl. Just beating around. Now I'm going to start adding the powdered sugar. Peanut butter recipe calls for 3.5 cups. There's 1. There's 2. Ooh, that's thickening up nicely. measure is. So we'll use the quarter twice. Turn it up a notch on speed 2. I'll show you the consistency that it's got going now. The bowl's still pretty warm. Let's stop it and take a look. That's still pretty runny, drippy. So I'm going to add more sugar, even though it's still warm. The peanut butter recipe says it should be crumbly. Now granted, we are dealing with a different component here, which I suspected would take more sugar. So let's add another half cup, which will bring our total up to 4. Get up to 4.5. I'm looking for a certain thickness. Still looks like too much like a loose buttercream. I think this can actually take a whole nother cup. So this will go up to 5.5. The cheese doesn't have solids in it like the peanut butter does. So all of the oils in the cheese just absorb all that sugar really quickly. Let me take a look. I'm still a little too soft. Let's go one more. That'll bring our total up to 6.5. And no, this isn't sifted. It's just straight out of the bag. Powdered sugar. No, too far. What a mess. Oh my goodness. Holiday cooking will get you every time. I don't even have anybody in the kitchen to laugh with me about it. Hope you guys are laughing at me. Why did my bowl come loose? That was weird. The whipping will also help pull it down, which is making it set a little bit more. see how thick this is. Oh, that's pretty thick. The flavor's there. Oh my goodness. I'm a happy girl with that flavor. So let's take, scraping the paddle down. Taking the paddle off. Kind of has the consistency of a thickish buttercream icing. It runs, but that's due to the heat of the cheese and butter, I believe. So I'm going to pour this into the bowl, into the prepared pan. Scraping it down. You guys are a little close there. Yeah, it's nice and thick now. It's a struggle to scrape it out of the bowl, actually. Okay. This stuff is thick, as it should be. Maneuver the paper. Give it a little shake and jiggle. And now I'm going to put it in the fridge. Okay, it's the next day, and as you'll see, we actually got into this last night. The parchment paper makes it real easy to lift the whole block of candy out of the pan. Excuse the crinkles. Now this is the cheese fudge. I did go ahead and make a batch of the peanut butter also. I'm just using a knife. This is pretty soft. I think if I were to make this again, since this is an experiment, I would cut it down to 1 stick of butter or half a cup instead of a full stick of butter. I think the consistency would come out a bit more stiff. You saw me putting all that extra powdered sugar in there. So that's the cheese fudge. It has kind of a butterscotchy flavor to it, which is strange. You wouldn't think that that would, you have the smell of the cheese a little bit, but then the flavor is a little bit of a butterscotch flavor. And let's get it back here. And the peanut butter gets a little bit of a crumbly texture to it because it's so firm. Oop, I think I just broke my breadboard. That's okay. It's a lot firmer than the cheese is, but it still cuts nicely. It's a good sharp knife. Take a pinch. You can see this one squishes real easily. This one I can't squish at all. So that gives you an idea of the texture. And this has got good, yummy, sweet peanut buttery flavor to it. But that's my cheese fudge experiment. And like I said, I think next time I would use less butter so that the consistency is firmer. But these came out of the refrigerator, so it's firm. It softens up quite a bit, but still doable. You could even make this into balls and roll it into some powdered sugar or some ground nuts or something like that and make a completely different confection. Anyway, cheese fudge. Enjoy. This is Sue at Hometown to Homestead Gal Gardener. Enjoy, be safe, be blessed.